Nobody trusts anybody now. We're all very tired.
Hello, welcome to the Hate to Interrupt podcast. I'm Nick from Stop Culture.
I'm other Nick.
And I'm third bonus Nick.
Yeah, today we have a guest filling in for Tim,
Asian
who's
Nick's
currently
been
at
replaced for the day.
Yeah, he's at YouTuber Space Camp, Sleepaway Camp right now. So we have our friend Ghoulif. His name's Ethan. We're going to be talking about some video game adaptations today because Ghoulif just did a really, really good video about the Resident Evil franchise. So we figured he would be the perfect guest host to have on to talk about this topic.
That's true.
We decided to start the conversation based on three properties that we've seen from recent years. I'm a really big fan of one of them, The Last of Us. Uncharted was pretty bad, but kind of fun in points. And then we also saw Super Mario Brothers. So I don't know what you guys thought of each one of them, but
yeah, it's funny when you guys asked me to come on here, and I was like, "All right, cool. What's the episode plan?" And then originally VHS Nick was like, I think I pitched it. I was like, what's the Jeremy Saulnier? Is that his name?
Oh yeah. Rebel Ridge. I still haven't watched Rebel Ridge yet.
Yeah, I was like, Rebel Ridge came out. We can talk about him. I can go watch his older movies. We can talk about some good movies. And then Stop Culture went like, well,
did you watch any of those other movies?
Video game adaptations. We should talk about video game adaptations. And I put my head in my hands and I was just like, I fucking hate video game adaptations. I didn't mean to make my channel about video game adaptations, okay? It just happened that way. Or just
I would hate to do that myself as well. Unless we're talking about the original Super Mario Bros. Movie, then we're talking about something down my alley.
No, but I mean, it's a hot topic, though. I feel like the fact that video game adaptations were probably one of, if not the very most maligned subgenre of adaptation in film for like 2 or 3 decades, but now somehow out of nowhere, I guess is it just because video games are getting better? Like the narrative structure of video games is more interesting now, which makes their adaptations better.
I think that's already coming past. I think video games have had good stories for like 10 years now. I think more people just play video games and it's not like a faux pas anymore.
Yeah, I think it's a combo of things. I think it's, first of all, people taking back in like the 90s when they were starting to get made, a lot of people weren't really taking video game adaptations or just video games in general like serious, and they were just kind of like, oh, it's some just crap we're gonna make. And a lot of the people now making stuff about video games are people that grew up playing video games and getting invested into story games. And also the stuff they were adapting back then was like Mortal Kombat, which didn't really have any story, right? And then it did, but I mean, you guys.
I feel like that's like almost like a perfect sandbox where like you can kind of just do what you want with the characters.
Yeah, but it's like that.
Go ahead.
It's like that in the combo of just like them not taking it seriously, and it's just the general public and industry as a whole not taking it seriously. And I think now we're in a period where people like really want to see this stuff. So like, and also we're getting more of them than we were. So the odds are of just getting the increase of output for video game adaptations is higher than it ever was. So we're gonna get some good ones eventually. It's kind of how I see it right now.
I agree, and I think. What's your favorite video game adaptation? Like, do you have one that you actually like admire and like?
Oh, does it have to be a video game I like?
No, just the movie has to be good to you.
Probably like Arcane.
Okay, I actually play League a lot. Unfortunately,
I've never touched League of Legends in my life, and I am gonna die that way. And
it's like the only game I play, and I fucking hate myself for it every day.
Well, you guys are both like true gamer Americans, right? You guys are like full-on gamers.
Ish.
I don't really game anymore. Probably the last like 5 years. 4 years. I haven't really gamed much.
Basically, the only game that I've ever truly immersed myself in was Breath of the Wild. I really love that game.
That's a banger.
I'd be so interested to see an adaptation of that movie. But I think it's kind of an interesting conversation though to talk about video game adaptations, because I think the argument from gamers about, as video games kind of advance and their narratives get more complex and immersive, it's like, is the concept of adapting these things almost like a redundancy? Because shouldn't the medium of video games, like, shouldn't that stand alone? If the story is great enough, like, why do you need to adapt it into a live action thing when it's already in a more immersive medium? Doesn't it kind of like discredit the entire concept?
I honestly agree with you, and I think that that's the case.
Yeah, I'm in 100% agreement with that.
Yeah, like, I'm not gonna, like, I didn't need the Uncharted movie. Like, the games are pretty much like watching a movie, and the movie, honestly, I mean, as far as video game adaptations go, and I'm a huge Uncharted fan, I'll say that movie was inoffensive. Like, it wasn't good, but it was inoffensive. I was fine with watching a fucking Marky Mark movie. Like, but I mean, it didn't need to be made at all.
I think what you were saying, like, does this need to be made, or like, what's the point even? Absolutely. There is really no point, because it's gaming in itself is such a unique medium that's so much younger than like classic story structure and filmmaking, that, like, absolutely, I love weird experimental games. I love especially something that's so, I just like something that's so specific to its medium that, like, you can't really go out of that. But also, we're living in, like, capitalism, where it's like, oh, this is a popular IP. We're gonna make another Resident Evil movie.
Yeah.
But I still think there are situations where it can be done well. Like, even like if you look at like Detective Pikachu, right? Like, I mean, it's not a masterpiece, but like, they use the Pokemon universe to tell an interesting story that isn't necessarily just retelling a game. Mm-hmm. So, like, while I wouldn't say that movie's amazing, I will say, like, I applaud it for doing a video game movie kind of right,
Yeah.
So I think there's ways they can, like, kind of skirt between without just retelling exactly what's already been told.
So you guys have both played Uncharted?
I've played first 2 levels of Uncharted 2 at Nick's request.
I've played them all so many times. I love them.
Because I was curious, like, how tight that the movie kind of, runs parallel with the plot of the video game. Is it very similar?
No, it's kind of like they take, like, little bits from here and there, and also it's like they're also using, like, younger Nathan Drake, which doesn't come in until, like, the 4th game, and it, like, I don't know, it's just like weird. They just took little references from the movies and then kind of threw them in.
I've heard
from the games and threw them in.
I heard from a friend that because I have a friend who likes it and he plays all the Uncharted games, and he was mentioning that the movie takes a lot from 4, which is not one I have played at all, because it is the younger one. So, I
think basically, like, in Uncharted, I was pretty into, for the most part. It kind of felt like a super polished, like, modern day, way shittier Indiana Jones, where I could definitely get into it, and Tom Holland and Mark Wahlberg work well together and everything. There's definitely some moments of, like, horrendous dialogue and, like, super, choreographed plot beats and everything like that. But generally, pretty fun movie, pretty good action scenes and stuff. I enjoyed it for the most part.
For something that I just watched for free on HBO Max, I was fine with it.
Yeah, I that's the thing, is I think it is intensely inoffensive. Yeah. It is, like, the only thing I really had an issue with was the casting, because I just cannot take Tom Holland as anyone other than Tom Holland.
Tom Holland was, like, while I don't agree with his casting, I don't agree with them telling the young Nathan Drake story in general. But, like, Tom Holland was, like, the least of my problems. At least he's, like, charismatic and stuff. But, like, the Mark Wahlberg casting was so fucking weird, dude. It was just so obviously them trying to get fucking asses in seats.
How different is Mark Wahlberg from Mark Wahlberg and Tom Holland? Like, how different are they from the characters they portray in the game?
I'd honestly say Tom Holland isn't too terribly far off. I mean, for, like, young Nathan Drake, I guess. But Sully is, like, an older guy. Like Mark Wahlberg is just not gonna work as, like, even though he's old as shit now, like, he's not gonna come off as, like, the old man. Like, you know what I mean? It just doesn't feel right.
Yeah.
Yeah, the I don't know if this is true or not, so if you guys know, correct me, but I remember reading that Mark Wahlberg was attached to be Nathan Drake for the longest time because this movie's been in development hell. And then essentially he just kind of aged out because the movie was taking so long. And then they just went, oh, you're Sully now.
I honestly feel like he would have been a terrible choice.
Yeah, he would have been bad at that too.
That's basically like what happened with The Boys with Simon Pegg. He was supposed to play Huey, and then he aged out, so they're just like, all right.
Dude, that makes me so sad, bro.
You think he would have been a better Huey?
Yeah. I think he'd been a great Huey. He's such a good, like, he's like a heart of gold character a lot of the time. Like, he's like a kind of lost his way, kind of like, I don't know. I just feel like I would buy him a lot. I feel like the current, like, Huey actor, what's his name? What's his name's son?
Jack
Quaid. Yeah. I feel like he just plays it too much like an asshole. I don't know how to describe it.
An ass? I feel like he's totally not an asshole at all. He's like super nice.
In the first 2 episodes, and then he like just starts hating everybody and being a dick too. He like starts off right, and then I feel like he loses his way.
I mean, I feel like as Tim would say, he's like a total beta cuck. No, like that's kind of his character.
Did you watch like the second to last season? He's just like enjoying fucking murdering people the entire time. He's like, sick, I'm invisible and I can punch holes in people. This is badass. It's like, dude, that's not Huey at all. Huey's literally like a gentle fucking, like in the comics, he's so gentle and sweet. And he's like literally the heart of the whole team. And like Jack Quaid is not, I mean, it's not his fault. It's the script, but I mean,
Jack Quaid is the only Nepo baby that people like. Have you noticed this? His parents are Meg Ryan and Dennis Quaid, yeah. And
he's just fine. I don't have a problem with him.
It's because he's the only one out of all these Nepo babies who's like, yeah, I did have like a huge leg up, and I'm not saying I'm not talented, but I'm also saying that like it was a lot easier for me than like fucking some random guy whose parents were in accounting, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Which I think people can respect that. That's all people really want to hear when it comes to this shit. It's just annoying when the Nepo babies are like, no, I had to fucking grind my way up, you know? It's just like, no, you didn't.
I changed my name. No one even knew.
I wonder, like, it could be fair to say that Princess Peach is a Nepo baby?
Anya Taylor-Joy?
No, just like the character.
Oh, the character.
Isn't her dad like he's King the king, Koopa? Right? So, yeah, so that's...
What? Are we talking about Mario lore?
Yeah, like, in universe.
I thought she was just a baby.
Princess
Peach fell into a hole.
I don't know shit about Mario, if I'm being honest. All I know is the fucking 1993 movie,
the Bowser
that I've watched 8,000 times.
The King Koopa Donald Trump,
Well, before we went live, these two guys were talking shit about the Mario movie, but I have to say, it's probably because you guys aren't Italian Americans. You didn't enjoy this. You didn't enjoy this beautiful piece of, honestly,
it's just because Luigi wasn't voiced by John Leguizamo is why I didn't like it.
He was the only
It's Italian American erasure that Luigi was fucking, or that Chris Pratt was Mario and not someone like, I don't know, like
Danny DeVito.
Or like Sebastian Maniscalco or something would have been like, just throw us a fucking bone.
It could have been anybody but Chris Pratt. Like, it's literally the last person I would have expected to play fucking Mario.
You know what was the most annoying thing about that movie for me was all the the needle drops, like they put on fucking all those like, I need a hero, like all the 80s kind of, it's just, I feel like it's focus group,
It's just for the TikTok kids, bro. It's just for little children. It was literally a kids movie. I mean, No, go ahead. No, that's like it's a kids movie. Like, I feel like it wasn't really made for everybody. I think that's the problem.
It's I think when I first saw it, I was just more offended at the like you said, the pop songs. Like, yeah, sure, that is like, well, of course they're gonna use that, make it popular for all the TikTok kids. But also, I'm like, you're taking Mario or the Super Mario Bros. Franchise, something that has such a rich catalog of music, and you're completely squandering it, and just That's not true. Like the whole scene where he's driving through that like the Donkey Kong Kingdom, and it's playing Take on Me, and I'm like, you have so many opportunities to play any kind of Donkey Kong Country music, and it would fit perfectly, and you just squander it. I don't get it.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that. I mean, the kids I watched it with enjoyed it, so I mean, whatever.
Well, kids are stupid.
Kids are fucking stupid.
I just want to ask you guys like what you didn't like about it the most, because I actually found, aside from like the obvious kind of focus grouped plot choices and like aesthetic choices, that was pretty fun. It was a pretty fun movie. Like I guess I don't have like a super intense like emotional connection to the Mario IP, so I was kind of able to just like enjoy it for what it was. I don't know.
The movie kind of just felt like a checklist of things they wanted to do, as opposed to having some kind of like interesting story to tell. Like I felt like every single new scene was just them being like, we have to show this, we have to show this, we have to show this. And there was just no interesting story to be told at all.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the heart of the plot wasn't super fun, but there was definitely moments and character beats that I like. Like, I like Jack Black as Bowser. I thought his songs were pretty funny. I thought the little, like, flame character that they have in the super pessimistic little cartoon flame thing.
The little star.
Yeah, who's like, existence is pain or whatever. I thought that was pretty cute.
That was one of the only bits I liked.
Everyone in the theater when I saw that was, like, fucking dying laughing. But, yeah, I don't know. It seems like this franchise is like here to stay, though. Like it did really, really well, didn't it?
Made $1 billion.
Yeah.
It just feels like if you look at like a Pixar movie, for example, like I'm not a huge Pixar guy, but like usually there's some kind of like heart to those stories, and like it actually has something to say. And it just didn't feel like that with this movie, and I wish there was like more.
Like it had some identity.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess the issue is like with The Last of Us, for example, like you're basically you're watching a movie effectively in the cutscenes that you get to participate in. But in Mario, like Mario doesn't even really say anything usually. He just does like wahoos and fucking grunts and stuff. Like there's not as much of a story that fans are expecting to see, so you have to like fill in the blanks a lot with I guess whatever the studio thinks fans want to see.
But I think there is a lot. There are a lot of characters they can utilize. There's a lot of interesting things they can do, regardless of whether there's actually a story in the games. And I'd say even in a lot of the later games, like GameCube on, like there's actually a story.
Yeah, I think it depends, because you can take a blank slate and do anything with it, but that doesn't also mean that like, well, if you don't really add anything interesting to it, it's fine because the story's not really there. I think it's just like it felt like they did the bare minimum to get a passable like story and then just went, and that's kind of it just feels like it's fine. It's
like similar,
inoffensive.
Yeah. That's the thing. It's like similar to Uncharted. It's just like I don't feel like it needed to be made.
Yeah.
And like think about like if the like something good, like the Sonic movie is, I wouldn't say good, but I mean it's fine, and they do something sort of interesting with it, right? I mean, I didn't hate those movies personally.
I mean, I still haven't seen that one. I just remember the gigantic controversy about like Sonic's eyes being too small or whatever the fuck that was. You remember that?
Oh, the original design?
Yeah.
I thought it was really funny. I wish they would have done it.
Kept it. I think the movie would have been way funnier with it.
Yeah. But I mean,
yeah, that shit looked nice.
I think it's probably fair to say that like The Last of Us is the standard bearer for like how to do this right now. Don't you think?
I fucking didn't even like Last of Us that much, so I'm probably the killjoy.
Oh, really?
I think it's the correct way to adapt something if you're trying to just take the story and transfer it into another medium that's like also, a movie or a TV show.
I think they're like the first like 5 episodes I like was just like they did it. They made the perfect fucking adaptation. But then like it just lost so much steam, and they cut out so much that like felt really important to kind of tie off the end of the story. And it just, I don't know, it kind of fell flat. Like they really started strong and then it just fell flat for me.
I mean, the 3rd episode of that show is one of the best episodes of TV I think I've ever seen. That's like the one with
Which episode
with
was
Nick
that?
Offerman.
That's that's the Bill episode, Bill and Frank.
It was fine.
Get out of here, dude! That was one of the best episodes I've ever seen in a TV show.
You
weren't impressed by that?
So
You didn't like that?
It was fine.
That was
I've seen better movies that tell the same story.
It's a pretty unique story. I think it's a unique story for The Last of Us, because I mean I've never played the game, but I watched like the inside the episode thing, and the Neil Druckmann was talking about how he's like, we were when we're mapping this all out, like we're deciding if a new deviation is better, or if it's the same or kind of worse, like we're just going to stick to the game. But if it's like considerably better, that's when we know we have to like, you know, follow the writer's inclination and deviate.
The thing that annoys me is like they needed like an extra 2 episodes. Like 100% they needed 2 more episodes. And so like the fact that they like spent their time making an entire episode that like they could have just used that time to actually cap off the story in like a satisfying way. I don't know. It's more annoying to me than anything. Like, yeah, if they would have done 2 more episodes on top of that, then yeah, it probably would have been perfect.
Well, from
I think
go on, Ethan, sorry.
I think I agree with the episode amount. I don't know about more episodes, but I think at the very least, that last one, I felt really disappointed with the final episode. And it's crazy that finale was the shortest episode out of the entire batch. I think it was. At least.
I think it was too.
Or if not, it just felt really short. It just, for the weight and heaviness of what the story was trying to tell, I think we needed way more time with those characters before everything went down. And also, I just didn't really like the execution of that hospital scene. It was like pretty corny to me.
Yeah, that's the kind of thing that works really well in a video game, but it's like who is Joel? Like he's like a 56-year-old fucking like John McClane.
Badass.
Like how is he killing all of these people in this hospital? Like that was kind of unbelievable. I was expecting that maybe they would, because I watched all the cutscenes from the video game, but I never played it. After, you know,
I'd recommend you play it. It's good.
I don't even have like a system to play it on now. I have a Switch. That's all I got. So I was like,
I think it's on PC now.
oh, is it? All right. Well,
I think so.
I don't know. I also wasn't a huge fan of the second game, so it's like now I just don't have anything. Like I don't know. I'm probably not going to watch the second season, you know. So I didn't really enjoy the ending of the first season.
See, that's where exactly like opposite for me, because I like the second game, but I can totally see all the flaws with it. It's like a total mess. But that's kind of why I'm excited for the second season, because they're going to have to like restructure a bunch, because they already said they're splitting they're splitting the second game into season 2 and 3. So they're going to have to completely restructure.
Which is also annoying because they're dedicating that much time to the second game when they could have just fucking done the first season right. I don't know.
Well, going back to episode 3 though, I have to take issue with one of the things you said, because you said that it's I mean, in terms of like the story of, you know, just basic plot beats of like Ellie and Joel's story, like yes, it is a major deviation from their story, but in terms of like the whole like thematic arc of the entire show, it's kind of a major turning point, because it's sort of like when Joel reads the letter about like, you know, that's why men like us are here, to like protect people who can't protect themselves. Like he realizes that's his purpose, and it's, I mean, just the fact that it's done so beautifely and, you know, depicted with this like love story. I think it's important.
What was really annoying about all that?
What?
I agree with you. I think the episode was good. I'm not gonna like shit on it, but like what really annoyed me in that episode is like whenever they like, so it showed us all this stuff that happened to Nick Offerman's character and whatever, and we're like really invested, right? And then whenever like Ellie finds all these things, it's like almost like she watched it too. She's just instantly in love with these guys who she's never met and knows nothing about. It was so weird and off-putting. It's like, you didn't watch the fucking cutscene, bitch. What are you doing?
Well,
she's like, am I crazy? Like, remember she was finding all their stuff and she was acting like she was best friends with them. Like, that's how I took it.
I didn't.
I
just figured she was just like ruffling.
I'm about to rewatch it again, but I remember being like weirded out by like how infatuated with these guys' stuff she was.
I just thought,
even
she
though
was
she had never
like
met them,
a kid, you know, going through drawers because like Joel was off doing something, and that's where she finds the gun. Like she's just like.
Maybe.
You know, there's a kid wandering around.
I'll rewatch it.
Well, I don't think she's not infatuated with their stuff because she's infatuated with them as characters. I think she's probably never seen a house that's like so homey before. You know, they're all like in fucking abandoned ass like shitty places. She's like, oh, this is a piano, the fucking nice wine cellar. Like she's never seen stuff like that before.
Everything works,
you know?
still.
Maybe you're right. I'll rewatch the show even though I don't want to.
I think we all know why VHS Nick didn't like it.
Why?
Why do you think?
Why?
The gays.
Moving on.
No, the gays. No, I'm fine with the gays. I'm happy with the gays.
No, that was an amazing episode. Nick's just a hater.
Were you guys?
I kind of am a hater. I have to take Tim's spot since he's gone.
That's fine.
Were you guys happy with the depiction of the infected in the show compared to the games? Because that, from my understanding, they had to really cut down on that aspect of it, right?
There was way less of them, but also it's just a video game-ism where you have to kill like 100 infected to get through the plot. So yeah, it makes sense that there'd only be like 6 plus that one scene of like the horde, and that's kind of it.
Yeah.
I didn't have too much of a problem with it. And I think they explained the reasoning for the horde a little bit more than they did in the game. So
yeah, they changed it a little bit because it used to be spores in the game, and then they changed it to like the veins that are in the soil.
Oh, okay.
No, it was. I thought it was it was. It's been too long since I watched it. I thought it still was spores.
I'm pretty sure they changed it. Well, they might be doing that in
because it was like the infected or what's the shit that infects bugs? They're it infects humans now.
It's called. Oh my gosh, what is it called?
Cordyceps.
No, Cordyceps.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a really cool part when they in the very first scene of the entire thing. I don't know if they do that in the game where it's like an old-fashioned talk show and he's talking about the worst pandemic possibilities that could happen. He's like, if that happens, we lose. I was totally into that. And also had a big head from Silicon Valley.
I think there was a lot of stuff that they did right. I just kind of think Neil Druckmann's kind of a fucking dumbass.
Why?
I don't know. He just comes off as an asshole in all his interviews.
What? Just pretentious?
Yeah,
I can see that. The early episodes though, because you were saying you liked the first 5, right, Nick?
Yeah, I liked most of it up till the end. Honestly, I mean, I didn't hate on it until probably the last 3 episodes. I was kind of falling out of love with it.
Because the first 5 is when the show kind of deviates from the source material and adds a lot of its own stuff. That's when you get the opening scene with the talk show hosts, or I think in episode 2 where you get the scene in, I think is it India, where it's the doctor woman talking about the spores. Yeah. And then you get the whole episode with Bill and Frank, and then you get the episode with Henry and Sam. You get a little bit of their backstory and stuff. That's all stuff that is not included in the game, that is added on top. And then once we pass that, it's all essentially just direct adaptations.
I'm just rushing the ending too.
Yeah, it did feel a bit rushed. I can totally agree with that. And I feel like they're really good at adding stuff that accentuate the story as a whole, and they weren't very good at that when they weren't adding anything. They were just recreating scenes.
But I will say they did the intro perfectly. They did all that I don't know. I feel like it wasn't a failure of them being able to adapt. It was just them not using their time wisely.
I don't know. I guess I don't have the same kind of rubric to compare it against, because I didn't play. I think I'm pretty sure I watched the cutscenes, but I can't remember. It might have been the second game where I did that. I definitely watched one of them, but yeah, I don't know. I definitely didn't feel like it was rushed, really. I mean, there's only so many things you can do unless you're gonna introduce an entire new antagonist within the last 6-7 episodes.
I'm not even saying they needed to do anything intense. I'm just saying they needed more time to make the ending actually makes because just the way whenever she gets all mad at him and stuff, and I don't know, it just didn't hit right, because I feel like they hadn't really built that connection yet. The same way you do in the game.
Because in the game, that whole final segment, in the show they show the part where you're getting to set up the ladder and she goes up, or she goes, you hoist her up to grab the ladder, and then she goes to bring it back down to you. In the game, that's a really cool moment, because that's a thing, you a mechanic where you hoist her up and then she goes and gets the thing, and you just kind of end up waiting there, and the game is not rewarding you for doing that anymore. It's just Ellie's gone and you're what's going on? And you also had 30-40 hours of gameplay. That might be over exaggeration, 20 hours of gameplay of little quips and getting to know this character and spending all this time with her, and there's tons of interactions outside of cutscenes. That you really actually have a connection for Ellie and wanting to watch out for her. And then when you get to a moment like that, it's so big. And then I understand what VHS Nick is talking about, where it's I just needed more moments and time spent on them as a relationship of spending time with one another. I don't know. It just felt big moment. We reconnected after being angry, and then boom, flashbang, we're into the hospital stuff.
Yeah. I mean, speaking as someone who doesn't know like what the missing pieces are of the characterization, like all I really needed was, you know, the development of it from it felt like episode 3 to episode 9, like it was just a steady incline of them like getting closer and realizing that they need each other, particularly Joel realizing that he actually needs a purpose and like saving this girl and everything.
I think if you're somebody who didn't play the game, you're probably much more likely to like really enjoy it.
Yeah, I loved it. It was one of my favorite shows of that year for sure. And I think I don't know. I'm sure this is a big reason why the game is so popular, is because the ending choice that Joel has to make is a it's a very, very interesting choice for a protagonist to make. And in the second game, I'm sure it makes him like more complicated to play as or root for, being that he fucked the world just to like save this one girl.
Yeah, no spoilers.
Yeah.
It's very complicated. I love that ending.
Well,
it's such.
I love the ending of the first game. I think the first game's actually like a masterpiece.
Yeah.
So
yeah, absolutely.
I know the big spoiler in the second game. So if anyone doesn't want the second game spoiled for them, they can skip ahead a couple minutes or whatever. But how do you think they're going to handle Joel's death? Like, what are they going to do with that? Is that going to be like end of season 2? I think they're going to handle
it the exact same as the game.
But if they do it,
they're going to change it.
Yeah, because if they do it the same exact way as the game, correct me if I'm wrong, like it would happen within the first
episode.
I think it's going to be in the first episode, and I think a lot of people are going to not finish the show.
I think they learned from that mistake because so many people stopped playing the game at that point. Like they actually had a drop off. I think what they're going to do, since we know they're splitting the second game into 2 seasons, is they're going to essentially kind of drag that out. And because there's so many flashbacks in the second game, which is one of my problems, is you're just jumping back and forth constantly. That I think they're going to imbue a lot of those scenes and the time jumps that are happening over a few episodes, and then maybe like halfway through the next season, the thing with Joel happens, or maybe at the end of it. I don't know. I'm not sure. But
I could see it being, if you said they're splitting game 2 into 2 seasons, I could see it being a season 2 finale thing.
Yeah.
But it just sucks because I don't think they're going to be doing it from an artistic perspective. If they're going to be pushing it back, they're literally scared of their own decision, which also makes it kind of even less.
The second game is so big. It's double the length of the first one.
Yeah.
I think there's just so much there because a lot happens in that game, like good or bad, whatever. It's a lot of content and like story.
Yeah, I agree.
Are you guys concerned with Bella Ramsey being able to carry the show without Pedro?
No, I think she's great. I think they're great. Yeah,
I think she's great. I think that what's so great about the show though is their dynamic, and if you get rid of that, that's a big hole. It's a lot.
It depends on her dynamic. Voice crack. It depends on her dynamic with the other characters.
I don't think she's bad. I don't know if she can carry a show on her own, but because I think Pedro Pascal pretty much carried that. Even though I'm kind of annoyed with him seeing him all the time, he definitely carried the fucking first season.
Wait, you're not excited for Reed Richards?
Huh?
You're not excited for Reed Richards? Mr. Fantastic?
Dude, I'm so tired of seeing him in everything, honestly. And I think he's a terrible choice for Reed Richards as well.
Are you a Jim from The Office stan? You would want him to be Reed Richards?
No, but I think actually I don't even like him either. I
hated that cast.
Yeah, Pedro Pascal isn't a smart actor. Like he doesn't come off as smart ever, and I don't see him playing smart.
Yeah, that's a good point. I guess he usually plays gruff, reserved, kind of. I've never seen him play eccentric, which I feel like
Wonder Woman 84.
Oh yeah,
I've actually he's good in it.
I haven't seen that, so maybe that's
that movie was one of the worst movies I've ever actually seen in my life.
It's incredibly bad, but he's fun. He's like doing a big campy eccentric villain role.
Is his character is kind of like Trumpian, I heard. Is that right?
A little bit, yeah. It's based on that.
Okay. So
you should watch it. It's like unbelievably bad.
It's slow. It's like you'll never stop looking at the screen. It's like a car crash.
The plot is like he's someone that kind of can grant everyone's wishes or something. That's like his superpower, right?
No, he finds a rock that he wants to absorb or something to give him the power to grant everyone's wishes, and then he puts himself on a TV, and then everyone that makes a wish on TV gets their wish, and then the nuclear war happens or something. I don't know. I saw it a long time ago.
Jesus Christ.
I just remember
then
my
Chris
eyes
Pine
were kind
comes
of
up.
rolled into the back of my skull, so I didn't get to see most of it.
Oh, and then there's a woman who's a cheetah.
Oh yeah,
Kristen Wiig.
The Kristen Wiig shit was fucking weird, dude.
Okay, so no, yeah, we were talking about this last time. Just the fact that James Gunn is probably the perfect person to be taking over the DC universe, but it's coming in at such a bad time for the industry, the genre basically that he's working inside of now. So do you think like superhero fatigue is going to kneecap him even if the movies are good?
No, I think if the first movie is good, it's gonna do well. And I think DC overall is just infinitely more interesting than Marvel. So I think if he can, first of all, he has to do Batman and Superman well. Like that's just it. And James Gunn really exceeds in like these like smaller niche characters a lot of the time. But like if he can do Batman and Superman well, I think we're gonna have a long reign of DC.
I think it's not so much about superhero fatigue. I think it's about mediocre mid superhero fatigue, where it's just a lot of the fatigue that was happening was just, oh, another fine one came out and it didn't do that well and it got fine reviews, but nobody's really excited to see it. So I think as long as they're putting out projects that people want to actually watch and are well made, they'll take care of themselves, you know. Like Marvel isn't doing great, but occasionally they'll get one that people are actually wanting to see or is good, like Guardians, or I haven't seen Deadpool and Wolverine, but that one did well because people actually wanted to see that one. As long as DC's doing that, I think they'll be fine.
I think the biggest difference that I'm noticing lately is that fans and critics both are way less likely to give Marvel and superhero movies in general the benefit of the doubt. Like, when's the last time you've seen like a Rotten Tomato score for an MCU movie that's over like 80? You know, they
don't
during
get a
the
free
target,
pass anymore. For
yeah,
sure.
exactly. Like, people are just like, it has to be exceptional for people to really latch onto it, and so few of these things are that it's getting kind of difficult for them to stay afloat, I think. Like Agatha,
I
all
don't think
along,
it's difficult for them to stay afloat. I think they're just not making good movies. I mean, I don't know.
They're just it's a combination of making nothing that's that special and also just putting out way too much content out at once. Like I think from after Endgame to essentially last year, there was how like 50 hours of Marvel stuff that you had to watch, whereas Phase 3 was like 15 hours or something like that. Where it's like, how many shows are out that you're expected to watch to know what's going on? So most people, including myself, just like went, well, I'm not going to watch, 5 shows I don't care about to know what's going to happen in Thor 4.
Yeah.
And what even looks good coming up? Like there's Captain America Brave New World, which looks fucking god awful. The trailer literally looks like a TV movie trailer. And then Thunderbolts sounds like ass.
The trailer came out for that today. It looks fine. Again,
I didn't
it just
watch the
looks
trailer.
fine.
Maybe.
Oh, I gotta check out the trailer.
Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 got above an 80%.
Oh, that's good. But
I didn't even watch Guardians 3. I need to still.
It's good. It's actually good.
But even that,
like
that is a low score for that franchise. Like, I feel like if Guardians 3, exact same movie, came out in like 2017, it would have gotten like a 93, 95. Like, those movies, like James Gunn's entire operation with Guardians was basically almost universally praised by critics, and now there's like cracks starting to show in that. But I don't know. I mean, I've been watching the Agatha All Along show, which is,
how is that?
It's okay. It's kind of like, it's a fun thing for Halloween. I'm definitely not the target demo. It's mostly, I would say it's like definitely directed at like millennial women, like late 20s, early 30s millennial women. But it's pretty fun. It's
that
pretty
that
cool
whole
show.
project just screamed to me of like, we made WandaVision and this meme got really popular about Agatha, so we're gonna make a show about it. And then it's been like 3 years, and
I saw it on my Fire Stick, like on the screen, and I literally didn't even know what it was. So because I didn't watch WandaVision, so
it's about the witch who Catherine Hahn's witch who. What did she even do in WandaVision?
She was the villain.
Yeah, but that was the weird thing about it, because I can't, maybe I have to rewatch it, but I can't remember, because I thought they were trying to say that Wanda was the villain. Like, Wanda did this with her grief. Like, she transformed the town. Like, what did Agatha actually do? Do you remember?
I think it was like she did it, like Wanda did it, but then like Agatha made sure she kept doing it. I don't know. I don't remember. That was like 4 years ago.
Yeah.
I watched Loki, and I was just so unenthused by it that I just didn't watch any of the other Marvel shows.
I didn't watch season 2. I like the first one.
Loki is actually one of my favorite MCU things, actually, because I love the fact that it's like you're taking a well-known, you know, villain from the cinematic universe and putting him into this like totally crazy sci-fi kind of. It had a cool aesthetic, like the retro sort of like, it seems a little bit like what they're going to be doing with the Fantastic Four movie, like the retro futurist kind of, you know, mauve colors scheme, like pastel colors. It was pretty cool. I really liked that. But it's like Loki was good. I thought WandaVision was good until the end. All of the other ones have been like kind of mid, and it's definitely difficult for them to keep that up, which I think is why Agatha all along, despite not being like amazing, is kind of a better rubric for them to follow, because it just doesn't cost them as much money to make something like that. Like so far, there's literally been like 3 sets, like barely any really intensive CGI. Like I have to imagine like an episode of Loki or like Captain America Winter Soldier or whatever, the one they did, it has to be like a third of the budget, if that. You know, it's definitely cheaper to make.
Well, you are early in. Just wait till they get to the finale where they're fighting a big CGI witch or something.
That's true. Yeah.
Same with WandaVision. That one, the first 3 episodes were very small sets.
Yeah.
What did you think of James Gunn's stuff so far? Did y'all like Suicide Squad, the new one?
I loved it.
I did too.
I
did too. Was so good. That was so funny.
That was really good. I loved Peacemaker. Peacemaker was fucking
Peacemaker's great. I'm super hyped for season 2. They're filming that right now.
I'm excited for that.
What do you think?
Do you do anything else yet?
What do you think that Tony's going to take with Batman, his Batman and Superman? Like, how are they going to differ from the most recent iterations of the characters?
Superman's going to be the complete opposite of Henry Cavill's version. So just like super cheery, Boy Scout, fun, to be like optimistic. He'll go around.
No, he has to strike a balance, because I mean, the fucking Zack Snyder show was way too fucking dark.
It was miserable.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's like, nowadays you go too vibrant and bright, nobody's going to take it seriously.
So from everything I've heard about the new Superman movie, that's exactly the point of it, is like he's showing up in a world that's already established, trying to be like, I'm not killing anybody, I'm super hopeful and optimistic and like believe in rehabilitation and helping people, and not like, you know, basically being a violent superhero. Essentially everything we've had for the last 10 years of like The Boys or, you know, anything like that. And just coming in and being like, no, there's a better way. I'm going to go back, like a throwback kind of retro, super optimistic way, introducing to this world that's already
even if he takes a comedic route with it, as long as it's enjoyable. Because I mean, the problem with Superman is he's such a fucking boring character in general.
I disagree.
Well,
I think he's so great. He's just the biggest dopey, kind person. Like, he's just a lovable person.
Oh, I thought you were excited to see the Superman movie, Nick. You're not?
I'm not. I mean, I'm never excited to see a Superman movie, but like I will go see it because I like James Gunn and I hope he does a good job. I just don't know how. Like, if I was making a Superman movie, like I wouldn't even have the first idea of where to start.
Yeah, that's basically exactly what I was saying in our Discord a couple months ago. I was just like, I don't think it's an enviable task for a screenwriter to be like, oh, I have to follow up Zack Snyder's like very, very divisive characterization of this, one of the most iconic characters in American fiction, and then also I have to somehow try to modernize him in a way that shirks Zack Snyder's vision, like super dour, like Jesus God complex shit, and then also is still sort of inviting to those people because that's like their main. They're trying to win back the Snyder fans while expanding to the Marvel heads. That's what I'm thinking.
I think they need to give up on that. They need to stop trying to cater to the Snyder people, because
the hardcore Snyder people are just like, they're a lost cause.
They're still gonna go see whatever you fucking put out too. They're gonna go hate watch whatever you put out. Yeah. So like, who cares? And the Zack Snyder stuff, honestly, he made nothing good for DC. He didn't make a single fucking good movie.
Well,
Yeah,
I think
that's yeah.
the 4-hour Justice League thing was okay. I thought that was pretty
It
interesting.
was terrible.
The
It
4
was just
hours.
it was less bad than the other one. That's it.
It was
less bad
again,
than Joss Whedon's version.
It was incredibly
Good job.
fine, but in comparison, it was like you're like, wow, this is awesome. It's because we watched a pile of dog shit that was $300 million before that.
It's also
Like,
it's like pandemic goggles too. I was like, dude, yeah, this is fucking great.
What's your favorite? What's y'all's favorite Snyder era DC movie?
I don't have any.
If you had to pick one.
Okay, so he did Man of Steel. He did Batman versus
No,
Superman.
not him. Not ones he did. I'm saying movies that were in that DC universe. Yeah.
The Suicide Squad.
The original?
No.
Oh, is that included?
Squad.
That technically is.
Technically is DCEU.
Yeah.
Okay. That doesn't count, but whatever. It's fine.
Everything before.
Everything before Justice League.
Yeah, that
everything before Suicide Squad. What was your favorite?
Okay. I guess like the first Wonder Woman was fine.
Okay.
Like it was okay. It wasn't great.
I liked Shazam.
Oh yeah, I forgot about Shazam. Shazam's great.
I haven't seen that.
Never mind, Shazam. That's my pick. That one's actually fun. It's like big, but if it was a superhero movie.
And I love Zachary Levi.
He's really turned sour to a lot of people lately.
Why did you do some weird shit?
He's just like he seems very like desperate right now. Like he did Shazam 2, and then he went on an Instagram Live where he was complaining that nobody was watching it and being like, "You guys shouldn't go see John Wick. I love John Wick, but please, you have to go see Shazam. Please, I want to play Shazam again, please."
He wants to be a movie star, bro. He got a taste.
He doesn't have it.
Well, you don't think he was good in that role? You don't think so?
He's good in it. No, I think he was good. I think as a person, yeah. I didn't see the second Shazam, but it
was very not that great. But okay, I mean, the first one was good.
I got the list here. Okay, we got ignoring the new Suicide Squad, which is technically DCU, and ignoring Peacemaker because those would just be on top. We have starting at the beginning. We have Man of Steel, Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice, Suicide Squad 2016, Wonder Woman, Justice League 2017, Aquaman, Shazam. Oh my gosh, Birds of Prey. I forgot
Birds
that
of Prey
existed.
was ass.
And then we got Shazam
Black
2.
Adam was fucking ass.
Wonder Woman 2. Shazam.
I actually didn't hate the Flash movie, and I feel like a weirdo for saying it.
Yeah, you should.
I didn't hate it either, really. I thought
it was totally.
Kidding.
I like
what's his face. Resurrected dead people.
The what?
The resurrected dead people in the Flash.
What was that the part where they had like the CGI universe where they
that was people.
Yeah. That was very strange.
I mean, it was really ugly, but I didn't hate it.
It
Dude,
looks so bad.
I like Ezra Miller. I think he's a horrible person, but everything he's in, I like him in. He's so like charismatic, and I just enjoy him. And I hate that I like him. I think
they're fine. I liked them in Perks of Being a Wallflower way back when. I like them in We Need to Talk About Kevin, but that's kind of it.
We Need to Talk About Kevin is so good.
That was really good.
I watched that the other day. That's
and it's a still very pertinent story that is.
But he's
just
such a shitty human being. Yeah. So I don't know.
What's the story with that? Do you remember?
He just like he beat some woman outside of a bar while he's drunk.
They were just committing a bunch of crimes across Hawaii, essentially. They kidnapped a minor. They got into a bar fight. They like choked one of their fans. This was all in like a week or something.
Oh my god!
And this was like a few months before the Flash came out.
Wow, is that why it got delayed and like kicked around so much? Because
it might have been that. It might have been just them trying to,
fix the CGI steaming pile of dog shit that the movie looked like.
Yeah.
No, but if I had to pick one, I would say a Snyder Cut. Honestly,
get out of here.
Yeah, I thought.
Okay, including the Suicide Squad and Peacemaker.
Oh no, the Suicide Squad. But I thought we were not including those. I thought that was cheating.
Then that's it. Okay.
If we are,
so if not that, all the other things.
I think there were. I'll say that I think there was parts like of Batman v Superman that I actually really liked. There were bits of it that were like,
they had good scenes.
This is kind of sick. But like the movie as a whole was fucking horrible.
Well, there's great scenes in the Snyder Cut too. Like the scene when Superman comes back to life and he's fighting all of the Justice League. That was pretty cool.
Kal-El, no.
I thought it looked ugly, but I mean, I don't know, man. The Justice League was just a miss.
And then they made the villain look like a Decepticon from a Michael Bay Transformers movie.
No, I think it's interesting to think, like, do you think the Snyder fans are going to ever accept James Gunn, or are they just
Yeah, as soon as there's good movies being made, I think they will. I don't think they'll admit that Zack Snyder stuff is bad. They'll never admit that Zack Snyder stuff was bad, but they will admit the new stuff's good eventually.
They'll probably just stop talking about it, delete that account, make a new account, and be like, okay, I can actually like publicly like this rather than having to admit I was like wrong.
I mean, people have to have done this before, but can we just take a minute to analyze like the psychology of a Snyder Cut fan? Like, what is their actual deal? Like, why are they this way?
That's a whole wormhole to get into.
I think there's like I think it's like an offshoot of autism.
It's like Theo Vaughn. It's like back in my you guys we call it autism.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's people really connecting with like the super dark and edgy stuff, and then I don't know what like people get out of
people who had switchblades in high school.
It's funny because I remember back in high school when it came out, I was hyping myself up. I was 17 and I was like, yeah, dude, I'm so excited for Batman v Superman. And then I went to see it and I was kind of like in denial. I was like, that was pretty good. And then a day went and I was like, okay, it wasn't that good. And then I think like the next day I was just like, oh my God, that was the worst thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, I've been in denial about some of those movies.
Because I was so hyped up for it. It was like hyped up for like 3 years. It was the first time Batman and Superman are on the screen together. But I remember walking around my high school and there was a kid, like edgy switchblade type kid sitting there like, oh yeah, my top movies of the year so far, I'd say Batman v Superman is probably the best movie of the year. I wouldn't be shocked if it won Best Picture.
I had a friend who was in denial about like whether that movie sucked for like 5 years, and it's not until like now he'll actually be like, yeah, that movie's fucking horrible.
That's really strange to die on that hill, but I mean, I guess I can sort of see a little bit where the Snyder people are coming from, because if you think about it, Zack Snyder was basically creating his own cinematic universe that was in effect like it stood in stark contrast to the MCU, like the bright, cheery, fucking overly sanitized, quippy MCU. And if the person that Warner Brothers hired to replace him is James Gunn, who's literally like probably one of the top architects of that aesthetic that Marvel has been working with, it's kind of an admission of failure. It's like, oh, instead of carving out our own lane, we're just gonna like continue aping off the MCU and just hope that gets us more of their fans, I guess, you know? So I get it.
Yeah. I think there's also a part of DC or like Snyder fans that they like, it's like baby's first symbolism, where there's like the slightest bit of like symbolic imagery where they're like, oh my gosh, Superman's doing this.
I think
that's like Jesus or something.
Yeah.
I think people who are just really into superheroes just have bad taste. I think that's the problem.
Well, you know, I like superheroes. So you're like, I know what you're doing there. But no, I don't know. I think it's just like, it's having a well-balanced entertainment media diet, because I used this analogy before, but it's like superhero content is like, it's fast food, but it gives you a kind of satisfaction that certain other kinds of like more heady or serious stuff doesn't give you. And it's okay to like both. I don't think it means you have bad taste. I think it's just like you're willing to indulge yourself in things that aren't like high art, which is okay. It's just being human, you know?
You know what really annoys me? Y'all seen the Tom Holland Spider-Mans, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So like, I'm pissed because they really set up like the actual version of Spider-Man I want to see, like with the last movie, like in the very ending. Poor. Yeah, where he's just like a dude chilling, and
he's depressed and living in a tiny apartment.
Yeah, like why didn't we start there? Like, we had to watch these 3 horrible movies. We're probably not even going to get the one they set up, and it's like, dude.
Well,
why'd you take so long?
Have you heard about the leaks for Spider-Man 4 though? Apparently, they're gonna have
good.
like Tom Holland's gonna start bartending, and then Mark Wahlberg is eventually gonna come into the plot, and you learn about Spider-Man's long lost brother, who has 2 keys to the Marcata house. Yeah, so hopefully,
right.
I don't know
I
how
thought
they
you were gonna
fit Venom
actually-
into that entire plot, but they'll do it somehow.
They'll figure it out.
Yeah.
It's Sony. Yeah. I don't know if you guys actually did hear about the leaks, but apparently, like Kevin Feige, MCU, they were wanting to do like a street level, like a Kingpin with Daredevil as like a co-character, and like was going to be Spider-Man 4. But then Sony, because they're basically like divorced parents having to share their child. Sony is really pushing like, no, do you see how well No Way Home did? We have to do another multiverse story where we bring in Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire again, and that's what we got to do. So I think the rumor
They should just make their own Andrew Garfield movies again.
Wait,
separately.
Wait, what's the rumor? Which way are they leaning toward? Do you know?
It seems like it's going to be a multiverse thing.
Okay.
Which is unfortunate.
I just won't see it. I genuinely will not go see it.
I don't believe you.
I won't. Maybe I'll pirate it or something.
You went
No
to go
Way
see
Home?
fucking Beetlejuice too. You're gonna go see it. You're definitely gonna go see it.
That's different. I actually wanted to see Beetlejuice too.
I will say No Way Home was probably one of the worst theater experiences of my life. I hated seeing that in theaters.
I didn't hate it, but
I think I waited like a week and a half until.
I enjoyed the movie totally fine. It was a packed theater, which I'm cool with, but I feel like some of the worst people go to like these big premiere nights. There was like a group of high schoolers that were just like yelling and like trying to make jokes the entire time, and like nobody would laugh, so then they just repeat what they said already, and like they were shushed like by everybody in the theater. Multiple people went to go get the managers, and like nobody wanted to tell them to leave. So I just sat there while these guys were like, "Dude, check out Marissa Tomei. She's like my girlfriend. Am I right? Did you guys hear me? Did you guys hear me?"
She is really hot though.
it is insane how fucking obnoxious teenage boys are in movie theaters.
Mm-hmm.
I had to shush them multiple times when I was like, I'm 31 over here trying to enjoy Deadpool and Wolverine. Can you fucking let me just vibe out here?
What movie was the best movie going experience you've ever had in your life?
2001: A Space Odyssey at the Alamo Drafthouse.
Oh, that's cool.
Why'd
that
you
were
like
able
it
to
so
see
much?
that.
Huh?
That's cool that
Why'd
you were
you
able
like
to see it. I said
It was a mixture of seeing that movie for the first time and also the Alamo Drafthouse. I don't know if you guys have heard of it or been there.
yeah.
It's just so good. We got like bruschetta and like got like just the seats were all comfy and just the sound system just hit. And it was just like a perfect theater experience. And that was my first time at the Alamo Drafthouse. So
I don't know. Like best is hard to quantify, but one of the I know you're gonna get mad at this answer, Nick, but when I saw Midsummer or Midsommar was one of the most insane theater experiences I ever had. Like that movie shook me to the fucking core. A lot, partially because I thought the psychedelic, the way they portray psychedelic,
it looked really nice.
the way they portray psychedelic tripping in that movie is more accurate than, I don't know if you guys are big trippers, but if you ever have, like, it's so fucking accurate to the way tripping feels. Not necessarily looks, but it's crazy.
I'm curious to get your opinion on Climax then.
I haven't seen, what's Climax? I haven't seen that.
Climax is about a group of it's like a dance studio, and they all get sangria that's laced with LSD, and the entire movie is like 3 hours of them tripping in a dance studio.
Oh,
And I've heard it's like really gruesome.
Oh, all right, that sounds pretty. Wait, it's like a horror movie too.
It's the guy who did Enter the Void. Forgot his name.
Oh, okay. I saw Enter the Void. That's the one with
I
like
saw Enter the Void too.
the long tracking shot that they put on like a little go-kart, right?
I think so.
That was a really cool shot.
My favorite theater
away.
experience
was
going to
That's
see The Ringer with Johnny Knoxville. And my mom dropped me off to go see the movie by myself, and I went in, and I was the only person in the movie theater.
Nice.
And that movie made me laugh so fucking hard.
You just got your own
I was
personal
literally dying.
seat.
Yeah, I was just literally in the middle of the theater. I moved seats to the middle because, like, usually I'll sit in the back, but like when I'm in there by myself, I want to sit right in the middle.
Yep.
It was
that
so
sound
nice.
hits you perfectly.
Dude, honestly, another really good theater experience is, like, sorry to be a normie, but like Avengers Endgame was super fucking cool to see in a movie theater. I don't know if
That
you
was
guys
fun.
feel the same way, but
I remember I watched that movie with some of my friends, and one of them walked out and he's like, "That's the best movie I've ever seen in my life." And I just wanted to like kill myself.
Well, I think the difference is to be able to understand that it's like, it's not necessarily, it doesn't give you like the cinematic experience necessarily, but like Scorsese says, like it's the most insane fucking theme park ride that you can ever hope to go on. Like it's pretty fucking cool to share it with everyone else who feels the same way.
It was more of an event than a movie.
I enjoyed going to see it. It was just that moment after the movie like scarred me for life.
That reminded me of how we went to go see Joker. Me and my wife went and saw Joker, and we were both like, well, like I was like, it was good, and she didn't really like it. But like the guy behind us was leaving the theater, and he was just like, well, that's an instant masterpiece.
Oh god!
Like, dude, it's just King of Comedy. Go watch King of Comedy.
I was literally trying to find King of Comedy on streaming the other day, and I couldn't fucking find it on anything. I had to watch it illegally.
What do you guys think of the Penguin show so far?
I really like it.
There's only one episode out, right?
Yeah.
I think it's a good pilot.
I liked it.
You learn a ton about the character.
I think it's kind of weird they went the like very like what's the word? Like kind of cliche route of him like instantly like finding some like it's literally what's that show with fucking Sylvester Stallone?
Tulsa
that came out recently. Tulsa King. It's literally just Tulsa King and fucking Gotham.
Well, because he finds like a young little protege. I
think that's just like that's just a trope in a lot of stories.
I know, but it's just weird they did that.
Mentor guy finds a kid,
and it also doesn't feel natural for Penguin to do that either. It kind of felt weird, but I do like this show. I'm not complaining yet, but like,
I think that kind of teaches us like that in itself not only introduces us to another character, but it also shows us something about Oz as like a character. Is he's someone who is like, you know, very prideful, but also he has like a soft spot for people with disabilities since he's also disabled. True. And then you get the shot later where he's getting on the subway and like refuses to take the disabled seat because he's got too much pride. I don't know. Just the first episode was really good at like giving us little details just about knowing who he is.
Yeah. Also, I mean, like audibly, I was like, "Whoa!" Like when he kills the dude who that guy's kind of a famous actor. The
Alberto.
Yeah, Alberto. Yeah, the son of John Turturro's character. Funny. Yeah, I was like, I guess this is the antagonist. We're gonna be like this little like shithead Kendall Roy type is gonna be the antagonist of the show, and then he just fucking laughs and shoots him in the fucking.
I love that bit where he just laughs at him for like a minute and then he's just like, fuck.
Yeah.
Like, damn it, I have to fix this now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, shout out to the makeup on that show.
It's insane.
Wild.
How transformed that Colin Farrell is. Like
I heard he's like, I never want to wear that shit again after filming the show.
I can imagine. I mean, I don't know where they take this.
Enough money. He can deal with it.
I'm curious to see, like, obviously Pattinson's gonna have to show up, right?
They confirmed he's not in the show.
How that doesn't really make sense to me.
We don't. What timeline is it in though? Like, where is it? Oh, it's after.
It's right after. Direct
immediately
sequel.
After they said, and it's going to end a week or like right before the beginning of the second Batman movie.
Dude, they need to fucking hurry up with those movies, man.
They just finished the script. Shit.
But so they should have already filmed it.
Yeah.
Well, I know. I prefer them take time making it, you know, work in the script phase.
Pisses me off, dude. But how long ago was that? Like 2 years ago already?
2022 March. No, 2023. Was it?
It was
definitely 2 years ago.
It was 2021. It came out in 2021.
No, it was initially going to come out in
2022. Yeah, they delayed it originally.
Yeah, it was March of 2022.
Oh, okay. But
yeah, I like it though.
But that's what I'm saying. It's like it seems like they're going pretty grand scale with this, like just based off what I've seen in the, you know, next, you know, on this season, you'll see like those clips. It seems like there's definitely going to be moments where it's like, why wouldn't Batman show up to fucking like help out? Like,
yeah,
I don't. If they're trying to have some sense of connectivity here, like that definitely cheapens it a little bit for me.
There was a mention. I think it was in the newspaper that there was like a newspaper clipping shown in the first episode where you see that Batman's been missing for like a week.
Oh.
He's been missing, and then also I read somewhere that one of the showrunners essentially showed it as like this version of Penguin is like not the like Kingpin yet. So he's essentially just like small change. Like Batman is not. It's like not worth Batman's time. Like he's like just like a low thug guy.
I guess, yeah, as long as they write it in a way that makes sense. I guess I think people I guess it just they're just gonna have to make the show really, really good because people are going to be expecting to see Pattinson, I think, right?
Yeah.
Especially the way they've been marketing it. It's like Matt Reeves' new return to the Batman universe. Like, I don't know.
Have you seen any of Saulnier's stuff, Nick?
Which movies are those?
He did Green Room, Blue Ruin.
I've seen I've seen Blue Ruin. That was really good. I saw it when it came out though, like back in 2014.
Did you get a chance to watch any of them? Other than Rebel Ridge?
I only watched Rebel Ridge. I didn't have time. I watched Uncharted instead of that shit.
We definitely need to talk about him because I love him so much.
Yeah, I'm down. Would you say he's your favorite director?
Like modern, like working directors.
Sure,
he's like up there. I like Zoller too.
What's he done?
Like Dragged Across Concrete, Sprawl in Cell Block 99.
Oh, Craig Zoller.
Bone Tomahawk. Who else do I like a lot? I like Denis, but
yeah,
I mean, honestly, like Dune was really good, but like it didn't like do anything for me somehow.
Didn't do anything for you?
Yeah, I like watched them and I was like, oh, those were really good, and they like just didn't hit for me. I don't know.
I'll say that out of Denis' filmography, I've seen everything except for Incendie. And I'd say Dune, at least part 1, is probably one of his lower quality films for me as like some of his projects. I think Dune part 2 is like really good, but Dune part 1 is more of just like a setup film. But everything else, I think, is so amazing.
Like Prisoners is fucking amazing.
Have you seen Enemy?
Yeah,
I've seen Enemy.
Enemy's so awesome.
Blade Runner 2049 is like one of my favorite movies ever.
Yeah. Sicario as well.
Arrival is good. The first one. Arrival was fine.
I loved Arrival.
I haven't seen a movie of his that I haven't loved. I loved the first part of Dune. The second part even more. I was like,
it definitely doesn't miss. And there's nothing I can really say negative about the Dune movies, other than they just didn't like stick with me.
Yeah, I'm excited for Dune Messiah. I'm really looking forward to how he does that.
Yeah,
I know you made a whole video on it, Culture Nick.
Yeah. We talked about that on the pod one time. It's definitely it's going to be a difficult thing for him to do because it's just such a different tone.
It's like a political thriller.
Yeah,
or like favorites.
Thriller is even like that's a strong word. It's very very quiet, like contemplative
political
movie.
Intrigue.
Yeah, exactly.
That's probably better.
Yeah. Who are y'all's favorites right now?
Denis Villeneuve is probably up there for me.
Favorite directors probably Robert Eggers.
Robert Eggers is up there.
Okay.
I'm so excited
Robert
for
Eggers is good.
too.
Nosferatu looks good.
Also, Ari Aster is one of my favorites too.
Ari Aster for me is someone that hasn't like proven themselves yet. Like they did Hereditary and Midsommar, which I think are really good, but I didn't really like Beau's Afraid at all. I get what he was going for, but it just didn't really do much for me. He's promising, but like I haven't seen anything where I'm like, this dude cannot do wrong.
Y'all should watch The Strange Thing About the Johnsons and tell me if y'all still like Ari Aster. Fucking that movie made me so fucking uncomfortable, dude.
That's like a 15-minute short film.
That's the point though.
It's like 30 minutes. But it's also like in bad taste.
It's not a feel good movie.
it's a feel good. You will be hugging your family tight.
I hate that like Ari Aster like also like plays everything for comedy whenever like it shouldn't be. And usually like I would
What do you mean?
The Strange Thing About the Johnsons was a fucking comedy movie about a kid trying to fucking suck his own dad's fucking wang, bro.
That's like about it's honestly kind of an absurdist like horror movie.
Yeah,
because it's like a scenario that's kind of
everything is played for jokes. Same thing with Midsommar, and that's why I didn't like Midsommar so much.
I totally disagree.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really know what you mean. I think that
dude, that was so funny when that old elderly couple splattered on the rocks.
Bro, they literally played it for like all the fucking noises whenever they're fucking raping the dude in the barn. Like all the fucking moaning and screaming was literally played like for comedic effect. Y'all can't tell me otherwise. It fucking fucks me up.
I don't know. I think it's not comedic effect. I think it's like a surrealist, especially in Midsummer. There's so many parts of that movie where almost all the characters are on psychedelics. So the way that people are especially remember the moment when all the women are like crying in sequence,
which is like very cult.
Yeah, like I think there's a lot of movies there's a lot of directing and acting choices in that movie that are meant to disorient you, that might come across like a comedic tone, but I don't really think that's not his intention, I don't think. And strange thing about the Johnsons in particular, I think that you might be getting comedic tone because it's like shitty student film acting, maybe.
No, I think that movie is actually a comedy. I think Ari Aster views these movies as a comedy. That's what I take from his movies. Unless he tells me otherwise, I won't believe it.
How the fuck is Hereditary a comedy?
Not Hereditary. I think Hereditary was probably the one. I meant Midsummer is more what I meant.
I think Hereditary is his best movie.
I think Hereditary is his best movie, and I still hate it.
So you saw Hereditary, and the moment where the girl gets her fucking
I don't think Hereditary was
off.
played for laughs as much. I do think the head chopped off part was like actually kind of funny though.
Okay, well you just messed up in the head because that was not played for jokes in the slightest. Where you just give the hard cut to the severed head and then transitions into the.
I don't think that one was played for jokes, but it did make me laugh a little bit, especially with how like it was kind of like jarring, like the timing.
That's one of those horror movies for me where I don't really get scared by like your haunted house type horror movies anymore. So if you give me something that's going to make me feel sick, then that's what scares me, and that's how I felt watching Hereditary. As soon as they hit the telephone pole, I was like, oh god, this is like sickening.
Yeah.
And I could only watch like half of Beau is Afraid, but I wanted to fucking gouge my eyes out.
Well, yeah, I mean, Hereditary there's a supernatural element that you find out has been like weaving itself through the entire plot by the end, but it's mostly just kind of like a really, really fucking depressing family drama. Midsummer, I guess, is like a little bit more of I wouldn't say it's like a lighter tone, but it's definitely not as dark and dour as Hereditary.
I'd say just visually, I'd say like tonally, it's even darker than Hereditary.
I wouldn't say it's darker. I mean, I guess it's whatever you think is darker, like the fact that it was inevitable that this family was always going to get possessed by a fucking demon and like they had no control over their actions. Or is it more depressing that a girl has no real support system because her family kills herself and then she finds happiness with a cult who kills her boyfriend?
Yeah.
Like, what's more depressing? I don't know. Pick your poison, but they're both pretty fucking depressing. You know.
Anyway, back to that question though. So you got Ari Aster as a favorite. I don't love all of his movies, but I think I really like Guillermo del Toro. I'm always gonna watch whatever he makes, even if it's not like personally my taste.
Mm-hmm.
I think he has made a lot of misses lately, but I think he's definitely talented. Sure.
He's incredibly talented, and I think he has such a passion for just movie making.
I want him to make like something more like Shape of Water than what's that Scary Movies to Tell in the Dark?
Oh, he didn't direct that though.
He didn't? Okay, good.
No, he was the producer on that. He wanted to direct, but then he's always directing stuff. He's currently working on Frankenstein.
I've been obsessing over some Lynch stuff lately. Like I've been obsessed with Twin Peaks for the past 2 weeks.
I have not watched that. I would like to.
I need to watch.
How weird is it on a scale of 1 to 10?
Well, so there was 2 seasons and a movie in the 90s, and then they come back for an 18-episode season in 2017. I'd say like the weirdest season is the 3rd one, for the most recent one. But they're, it's all weird in different ways, because it's kind of like the first 2 seasons it was 1990, so it's steeped in trying to satirize sort of like soap opera culture, also like cop procedural. So it takes like a very Lynchian kind of swing on that stuff. But then when it comes back in 2017, it's more of like, it's kind of informed by like Breaking Bad and more of the golden age anti-heroic television shows of our childhood, basically. So it's always weird. It's always fucking Lynch as hell. But
I need to watch a lot more of his movies. I've only seen a couple.
Yeah, I've seen like Blue Velvet, and
I haven't even
Dune
seen
and
Mulholland Drive. I've only seen Blue Velvet, I think.
I'd like to watch some more of his stuff. I think I have a copy of Blue Velvet.
And I've seen Eraserhead.
Well, yeah, Twin Peaks
Eraserhead, I hardly know her head.
if you have Amazon Prime, no, it's actually Paramount Plus. They're both on Paramount Plus if you want to watch them, but they're both pretty fucking great. So what do you think? You guys want to wrap it up here? We want to get into anything else?
There was actually. What was that? Go ahead.
I was going to ask if Ghoulif has seen Chris Stuckman's movie.
Shelby Oaks? No, is that even got a wide release yet?
No.
I think it's been at some festivals and stuff, right?
Yeah, Tim mentioned something about going to see it, but I think he wasn't able to get in.
Yeah.
No, I haven't seen it. I'm interested. I respect Chris Stuckman as like a person, and I'm like, good for him. I think that's awesome. He was able to get a movie made and getting distributed by Neon as well.
Yeah,
good for him.
It's kind of it's
next year, July of next year is the wide release.
It's interesting to me because like almost everything that Neon has chosen to get behind up until this point has been like widely acclaimed. Almost like I've rarely seen a movie that they've put out.
What's that movie with Ryan Gosling that fucking sucked ass by Neon?
Well, there's going to be some misses if you go through
like God. I don't know what it's called.
Oh, God is never here. God's something like that. The one where he fights, right?
Yeah, the Beach Bum is fucking horrible.
So maybe there's a couple misses, but
there's a few bad ones. But generally, they have like well produced movies.
Especially lately, they've been on fire. So it seems like the Shelby Oaks movie, from the reactions that I've seen, it's kind of divisive so far. But I'm excited. I'm excited to see the Stuckmanator on fucking the silver screen.
I'm excited to get Stuckmanized right in the big theater screen. I'm so hyped. How's that going? Getting him on the pod?
We're still working on it. I don't know if you know, our goal is to nonchalantly bring him up at the end of every podcast, just to eventually have a library of like 2 years worth of podcasts, and then someone tweets at him and be like, do you realize these guys have been talking about you for like a collective of 24 hours over the past 3 years?
They've been wanting to get you on here for ages, man.
What would suck for me is if I like am constantly shit talking him, and then I have to like be super nice on the podcast, and then everybody just thinks I'm being two-faced and shitty. So I just have to be nice about him.
Yeah,
I mean, he is just a person.
I mean, I'm just confused as to why he brings out like such a negative reaction. He's such a like innocuous kind of presence on YouTube to me that I don't know why you like dislike him.
He just has some takes about movies that like blow my mind.
I think in the last few years he's really stepped away from movie criticism because him working in the industry has just like, I don't want to, crap on someone else's work at this point. Like it feels wrong because like I know these people at this point. Like he's met a lot of industry people and he's like, I don't feel comfortable doing that anymore. So most of his criticisms and movie reviews have essentially kind of watered down, in a nice way of putting it. Like he's just not as like cutting as he used to be.
Yeah.
And I think for me, I was just like, I accept that. I understand what he's trying to achieve now. I don't really watch his reviews, but I'm excited for him to make a movie, and that seems like that's been his goal for his entire life.
Well, that's the reasonable response, because it's like so many of his fans don't understand. It's like the dude he's a YouTuber, like trying to break into the Hollywood fucking auteur, like an auteur position. It's like one of the most difficult fucking things in the world to do. It makes it even more difficult if there's gonna be fucking thousands of continuous hours, an increasing number of you fucking shitting on all your peers on YouTube with millions of views. Like, it's not good,
Yeah.
And then if your movie sucks, then you have that much more pressure on you.
And then you have Your Movie Sucks talking about your movie.
Yeah. Chris Stuckman is a fucking piece of shit. Like,
well, I guess we can take a second to just talk about anything upcoming we're excited about.
Oh, actually, we were talking about DCU stuff earlier, real quick. Did you guys see if you guys heard about the Lanterns show they're doing?
It's supposed to be like a True Detective.
I did hear something about it.
Yeah, it's like a Earth-based, like gritty detective show. They just cast Hal Jordan.
Who is it?
It's Kyle Chandler.
Oh, I know him.
Let me Google this guy.
He was in the King Kong Peter Jackson movie.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah, because they're going for like I read that it's going to be like older Hal Jordan who's been doing this for a while, and he's got the young like Jon Stewart like sidekick, or not sidekick, but like partner that's like new and jumping the gun, ready to go, and and the team that's working on it is like really good too. It's the guy that did it's Damon Lindelof, I think.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
I fucking hate.
he did. Watchmen was great.
Yeah.
Oh, Watchmen was so fucking bad. It's okay. I'm sorry.
I like Watchmen, so you're wrong.
I liked it too.
He also did, what was his other fucking show?
The Leftovers.
Yeah,
Leftovers. Leftovers started off so good.
I'm actually about to start it. I haven't watched it. That's gonna be my next thing. It starts off
amazing, and then it just takes us nosedive.
Yeah, Chris Mundy and David Lindelof.
Are you guys watching Industry?
I've never heard of that.
It seems like HBO is sort of like heir apparent replacement to Succession.
Succession.
It seems like it's like Succession.
Oh, it's Kit Harington.
Yeah, Kit Harington's in the new season. It's basically, instead of the media industry, it's like the finance, like banking industry in England. So I've heard a lot of good things about it. But yeah,
I might check that out. That's cool. I'm really excited for Terrifier. Anybody else excited for Terrifier?
No, I never watched them.
I've never seen it either, but
I'm not a big fan of just like straight up slasher gore fests.
Yeah.
Well, I will say the first movie. Oh, okay. The original short film sucks ass. The first movie sucks ass. But the second movie is fucking sick.
Hear me out. 2/3 of this entire franchise are dog shit. But
I think the first one's not bad. It's just like you can see their budget restraints.
Yeah. Oh, it was made for like what, $5,000?
Yeah. So,
wait,
I'm actually kind of interested in this new Jurassic World movie, which I never thought I'd say. Have you guys heard about it?
Another one?
They're doing like another trilogy, and it's Gareth Edwards is directing it. So it at least is going to look really good.
Is it still Bryce Dallas and Chris Pratt?
No, they're done.
Gareth Edwards is the guy.
It's Mahershala Ali. It's the guy from Bridgerton.
Is Gareth Edwards the guy who did The Raid? Or am I
did Rogue One? No, that's Gareth. No, you're thinking you're Gareth. Oh, it's Gareth Evans and Gareth Edwards. I don't know. Gareth One did Rogue One, sort of.
He did Godzilla too.
Yeah, that director. So he's really good at understanding visuals. He also did The Creator.
Okay. I really like Gareth Evans, by the way.
And it's the scriptwriter of the original Jurassic Park, so it might be okay. I don't think it'll be great, but it might be good, and it'll at least look really good. And I'm just a big sucker for dinosaurs. We don't have enough of that.
Yeah.
Wait, they're doing an American version of The Raid, I think.
Oh, why?
The fuck? Why?
Remakes of foreign films. Who's ready for HBO's Parasite series?
Is that serious?
Is that actually a thing?
Well, they announced that right after the original movie came out. I don't know if that's still happening. That was just a thing.
Damn, I didn't even know that was a thing. That sounds like a terrible idea.
It was like
Parasite was so fucking good, man. Parasite was so fucking good. Holy shit.
Oh, okay. Yeah, HBO Parasite series is not a remake, but rather an original story in the same universe.
Did that John Wick show ever come out?
Yeah.
Ballerina?
I think it's airing, or did just recently air.
Hear about that.
It's called like
the
Continental.
The Continental.
The Continental. I heard it was fine.
Let's see. Oh, I think it's already out. Well, nobody talked about it, so I'm not going to watch it.
Yeah, I heard it was fine. How do you guys feel about John Wick, like the franchise? I've only seen the first two.
I
go see them at a tradition, but I don't really care about them.
I honestly think they keep getting better and better. I mean, well, actually, from a plot standpoint, like getting you invested in the story and everything, the first one is clearly the best, mostly because the dog dies and everything, and that's super sad for everyone. And
it's easy to buy in.
There's I think that there's no amount of like retribution that John Wick could inflict on these people that will ever pay them back for.
I do agree. I think they keep outdoing themselves, like in the John Wick movies.
Yeah,
like every one, I'm like, hell yeah, even more. It's like a heavier hell yeah every time.
I haven't seen the fourth or the third one yet, but the one thing I just hated the first one for, I didn't hate the first one. I just disliked the aspect of how serious it treated itself. And then it seems like as they go on, they've been getting more like ridiculous and over the top. Where I'm like, yeah, I'm down for that. Like, I'll
But I
totally
almost think it was very tongue in cheek though, the first one.
really.
Because like there's no way they're the Baba Yaga. Like it's all. I feel like it was all very tongue in cheek. At least I took it that way.
Yeah,
I can see that argument. Yeah,
I think it walks the line pretty well, actually, of taking itself seriously enough where it's engaging and like gripping, but without being like Zack Snyder.
And they had
Jesus
fucking
shit.
Reek as the fucking bad guy.
Yeah.
I am obviously excited for Nosferatu.
Super
Robert
excited.
Downey's
Fucking
return.
sick.
Big missed opportunity for them to put that out in December instead of October, but whatever.
Yeah, maybe
He's one of those directors that I feel like everybody would expect me to hate, but I actually love him.
I'd love it. What's your which movie do you prefer from him?
Lighthouse.
I really like The Lighthouse, but
Lighthouse is good.
honestly, I think The Witch might be better.
The Witch is more of like your straight up horror.
Yeah. And The Northman, I think, is underrated. I think
I forgot he did The Northman.
It's a little bit more of a. It's like a straighter story that people probably weren't expecting to hear from him. But
I wish that movie
it.
got weirder. I wish that movie was more in his style, because I think like the last like 25 minutes of that movie was the best part.
Where they're just fighting in the volcano and
yeah, and there's like the
naked.
weird fucking sky dude, and he's just like
and the Valkyrie and yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I thought it was like I just wish the movie was weirder.
Well,
He had so much
one.
fun things to play with.
We just got I asked you guys if you had seen the trailer for it, but Mickey 17 by Bong Joon-ho.
I haven't seen the trailer.
Yeah, I haven't seen that.
Jerks. Bong Joon-ho, director of Parasite, starring Robert Pattinson. It is a sci-fi movie about a
I actually did see this
Mickey
trailer.
who is cloned.
I did see this.
I heard
It
about
looks
this.
so
actually.
good.
I watch. I mean, anything he directs, I just go see. Like, there's not a question about it.
Honestly, Robert Pattinson's becoming one of my favorite actors. Like, he'll just do like whatever he thinks it sounds like weird as hell.
I love him.
Oh,
He's so good.
Yeah, I watched. I saw the TV Glow last night. Did you guys see that?
How is that? I have not seen. I keep hearing
Mm-mm.
people on Twitter talk about it.
It's definitely it's worth watching. I'd say. I mean, I think it's one of those really ambiguous kind of surrealist, heavy on the symbolism type of movies that every different person's gonna get something different out of it. Largely though, like if you grew up in the time period that we grew up, like you'll definitely get an aesthetic kind of enjoyment out of it at the very least. It's very, very good at like capturing the nostalgia of our specific childhoods, I would say. So I would recommend it for that alone. It also kind of tackles like people's obsession with immersion in art and like trying to get lost in television or books or whatever as a like escapist method to avoid things that you don't want to accept about yourself. Like that's kind of what I took from it. So it's a pretty good movie.
It has that one actor in it that I don't like, and I've never liked him in anything. What's his name? It's like Justice Smith. Is that his name?
Yeah, he's the main. He's the main guy.
I liked him in anything.
It's definitely he gives like kind of like a mumblecore sort of performance.
And what's it called?
I saw the TV Glow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we got a bunch of upcoming stuff. Okay. Oh, who's hyped for the Minecraft movie?
Dude,
that was literally one of the worst trailers I think I've ever seen in my life.
That was an
it literally looked like it was all test footage. It didn't look like an actual like any scenes from an actual movie.
Yeah. And I saw a post and it was someone just removed all the human characters and they're like, oh look, it looks like a perfectly fine animated movie.
Yeah, for real. It literally shouldn't be live action.
No, that's a hate crime against humans to make it live action.
That's gonna make even more than the Mario movie though.
I am Steve.
I think people will hate watch it for the first weekend, but I cannot expect it to be good. It's the director of
I think they're gonna
and Napoleon.
Wait, is it really? Wait, is it really?
Yes, it is.
It's Jerusha Hess.
Is that his name?
I don't know. That's one of them.
Oh,
They're
did you
brothers.
just make up a name?
No, they're brothers. There's two of them. I just don't know which one it is. Let's see.
No, yeah. I mean, I don't know if people are gonna hate watch it. It's gonna be all fucking kids. Like Zoomers love that shit still.
So it's not Jerusha.
people
What's the
saw
other
FNAF.
brother's name?
Not the Zoomers. I meant the Gen Alpha kids. They love it.
I mean, Zoomers are still into Minecraft.
You think?
Wait, no, they're married? I didn't know that they were. I thought that they were brothers or something.
These brothers got married?
No, I thought
Two
so.
brothers.
It's Jerusha and Jared Hess, or the guys, or the people who made Napoleon Dynamite. But it's I guess they're man and wife, and I just always assumed they were brothers for some reason.
Okay.
In my head, I saw Jerusha and thought it was a dude's name.
They're like the Menendez brothers. If you guys are watching that shit.
Mm-mm.
Wait, they're making a new Shanghai movie?
What's Shanghai?
Like Shanghai Noon and shit?
Oh man, was that like 2001?
Dude, Shanghai Nights was fucking fire.
I saw them when I was a child, and I don't remember anything about them.
I watch them pretty regularly because I'm a fucking weirdo.
Oh, we got a new Sony original Marvel movie coming out. We got Kraven the Hunter. Oh, and we have Venom 3.
I love him, dude. I love Aaron Taylor Johnson. He's such a sick actor, and I'm so sad that he's in that movie.
He's excellent in Bullet Train.
I saw that he's trying to be Batman for the new DC stuff.
I would love him to be that. I just want him to be in anything. He's so handsome.
He also wants to be James Bond.
Yeah, let's fan cast James Gunn Batman real quick.
Dude, Aaron Taylor Johnson's kind of. I don't know if he's like big enough though. I feel like I want a big. I want an actual.
How big he is? He's like 6'3", and he's like pretty muscular.
I want like a huge Batman for once, dude. I want a fucking monster Batman.
Ben Affleck was that, and it wasn't worth it.
Yeah.
You say Ben Affleck?
Yeah, he's like 6'4", and he's
Ben
like,
Affleck
he
was just
really
fat.
Well, in the first Batman v Superman, he's
fat and short.
He was not fat. He was
not
jacked.
short.
He was roided out, dude. Remember that first movie?
Was definitely.
He was not roided out, bro. Y'all have a crazy sense of what huge is.
He was you don't remember the scene where he's like doing the ropes and
pulling
stuff?
the tire?
Like, yeah, he was huge.
He wasn't that big. He just looked like a dude who had been working out for like 6 months.
There's a couple scenes where he looks
you
like
want like
puffy.
someone Henry Cavill sized.
No, I want bigger than Henry Cavill, bro. I want a monster.
I don't want a monster Batman. I think
look at Batman in the comics, dude. He looks like a fucking
I know, but that's
lunatic.
a comic book.
Who is even that big? Like Jason Momoa? That's the only person.
Jason Momoa's not even as big as Nick wants him. He wants like Roman Reigns to play Batman.
Like The Rock. The Rock.
He wants The Rock. Roman Reigns, dude. Who do I want? I don't want The Rock.
I want Kevin Hart.
No, I want Jack Reacher, bro. Who's the guy who plays Jack Reacher? I want him to play Batman.
I don't hate him. I just don't think
I love him.
People keep fan casting him as Batman, and I think he's so bland.
He'd be great. He's so handsome and fucking charming. Alan Richardson. Have you seen Blue Mountain State? That show's so funny.
What about Jensen Ackles?
He's too old for me.
He is too old.
But
I do like Jensen Ackles, and he's also not very big at all.
Batman.
I don't think Batman has to be young though.
Well, the one they're going to what we know about the new version for what's it called, The Brave and the Bold. We know it's going to be a Batman who's old enough to have like a 10-year-old son, Damian Wayne. So it's going to be probably mid-30s at the latest, and then maybe like 40. That's probably the age range they're going for. So honestly, Robert Pattinson's age as well, like that, he's like right in that target, but obviously that's a different universe.
It's really annoying that they're keeping it separate, but also it's fine because I feel like I'm really going to like this trilogy.
I appreciate them asking Matt Reeves, like, hey, do you want to combine this? And he was like, not really. And they're like, you got it, buddy. No worries.
But it also comes down to Pattinson probably not wanting to be Batman forever.
Yeah, if I were him, I'd be like, I'll do a trilogy, and that's it. And then I'm never playing this again.
Yeah, because once you get into the cinematic universe shit, like, you can get fucking bogged down and sucked into
10
that.
to 20 years.
Yeah.
I mean, he already did that with Twilight. I mean, sure, he made like $100 million, but like, he had to be in Twilight for 10 years.
There's an interesting interview with like Don Cheadle talking to Kevin Hart about this. Like Kevin Hart's asking about what it's like to be in the Marvel machine. And he's like, it's really helpful, obviously, but they'll just call you and be like, yeah, so we need you here. And he's like, well, I was doing this other thing. He's like, yeah, but now you're doing this. You know, it's like it takes precedent over any other thing you want to do as an actor. So.
Yep. At least it's like guaranteed work. Like you're never going to be out of a job unless they decide your character isn't important for the next 5 years.
Yeah, but if you're Robert Pattinson, you're never going to be out of work. You know, it just depends on your level of actor.
I think he's smart enough to know what roles he wants, and for him to be like, I'm going to pick this Batman. Like I know what I'm getting myself into, and I'm going to do this one big thing, and then I'm going to go back to playing a weird little freak.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I couldn't see.
I fucking love Good Time.
I couldn't see Pattinson having as much interest in doing like the entire comic booky like cinematic universe Batman.
No.
Like he probably prefers more of like the Bale kind of Batman.
The grounded.
Yeah.
I'm honestly surprised he even wanted to be Batman in general. Like,
he said, I've seen interviews with him. He mentioned something about like Batman as a character is like he finds him interesting, but also that character draws in like certain quality of like directors and writers that really want to play with that character in that world, and that's why he was like, I know when you go to like be Batman or be in that world, you're probably going to get more attention as like quality most of the time, you'd hope.
yeah. Then like just playing some like random ass.
Yeah, I'm playing Captain America #2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's just close that here, bros. This is a good episode. Good. Yeah.
That's it.
What's
thanks for filling in, brother.
The outro is also we used to say get stuck when eyes. Maybe we should bring that back. We all get stuck when eyes.
I immediately, when you guys asked me to guest on the pod, I immediately thought of like an intro to your guys' show, and I'm shocked you haven't done it yet. Where you guys could just be having a random conversation, and then when he goes, "Oh, I hate to interrupt, but welcome to episode 5 of the podcast." Blah 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 blah. Like that's it. Come on, guys. Come on.
That's a good one. I like that.
Thank you. You're welcome.
I'm too afraid of being cheesy to do that.
Be cheesy. Be corny as shit.
I don't think it's that cheesy.
But instead it's Tim. Hello. Did I do it good?
Hello, I'm the nostalgia critic. I watch it so you don't have to. Or I remember it so you don't have to.
Shout out to Tim. Shout out to his family.
Shout out to Tim.
Timbo.
Do you guys remember?
They'll have
shout out to his family. The fucking
what?
Never mind. Okay. I'll send it to you.
You have to explain it now.
Anyone?
Yeah,
people? No, it was like David Guetta made he was doing a concert during the George Floyd protests.
Oh, is this where he's like, shout out to George Floyd's family?
Yeah, he
Black
made
Lives Matter.
Yeah, and he's like, shout out to his family. But it was a 2020 meme.
Thank you, boys, for having me. I really appreciate it.
I'm sure we'll be back sometime.
Thank you for letting me fill in for Tim. Thank you for Tim for not being here. And yeah, off to you, Culture Nick.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for listening, and have a good one, everybody.
Bye-bye.